Hello, and thank you guys for tuning in. Today we're going to be discussing our tier list of the playable Geo characters. There's 8 Geo characters in total since the release of the game up until our current 3.4 version. But nonetheless, I think there's like less Geo characters and like other attributes. Like I think we did like Cryo and Electro, and those like in like the tens, like 11, 12, 13 of them or so. There's like a few less, but these Geo characters, they're very impactful in their own ways. So let's just jump right in, get started. Um, First up, Albedo. I think Albedo is very. I think he's a very solid character. I think he's a S tier Geo character. With the release of so many Geo characters, there was like a mono Geo team that you can play. That's pretty viable. Like it's a very strong team, and Albedo is definitely at the core of that team. He's he's done nothing but get better and better. He was good since his release, even though I know all of you slept on him, all of you didn't like him, and you skipped him on his first release, Albedo who and all this, and then like I think it was like the Golden Summer Archipelago. Uh, that's when a lot of people were like they saw him in character and they were like, yo, this guy's pretty great. And then you guys wanted him. You guys are posers. I was not an Albedo fan since day one, but I was an Albedo homie since day one. I don't have him. I don't think I really want him. I have the Cinnabar Spindle in case anything happens. I got an R5. Just because he's the homie. If I do get him, I wouldn't mind having him. I don't think I'll go out of my way to get him. But he's a really good character. He's gotten better and better since the release of the Opulent Dreams, I believe is the name of the defense Geo artifact set. It's gave him a huge buff. Obviously, he's a Geo character that scales off of defense like most Geo characters do, and it just works really well on him. He gives him more defense and Geo damage, so can't really complain about that. On top of that, I think he has like a buff for like elemental mastery, and like he's just a really good character, really solid, really fun to play, cool design, like all around. He's just an extremely good character. And he has one of the most interesting events with the the Among Us like imposter thing. Like that was like so cool. Moving on. Next up we have Garo. I'm not extremely familiar with Garo, but I know he is another key member of the Geo team. I think he's a solid A tier support. The only thing that doesn't make him an S tier support is that I think he's specifically for Geo. So it's like it's hard to put like these like type focused characters like Kujosara, Garo, and like some of those characters are hard to put in like high like rankings because you need like C6 and they're specifically just for this team or character that you have. So it's like you're building this one character just for like another character. Like it's a little like it kind of like breaks their versatility because then it's like if I use this, like let's say I mained Albedo and I got Garo to like support him, then it's like every time I use Albedo, like I kind of have to use Garo to like get the ROI on my like on the resin and time spent to build up this Garo. So like I think these kind of characters are really good if you really love like the character one and two the character you're supporting with them. But overall he's a pretty good buffer. Geo actually has two really cool buffers. But what sucks about like a lot of these Geos is that you've got to farm that Geo set like so many times. It's a pain in the ass. But moving on, because Garo is another one of those that uses that artifact. Moving on, next up we have Arataki Ito, numero uno. I should have done him first because he's numero uno, the one and only. But yeah, he's by far S tier. His damage output is absolutely insane. He's the main DPS of your mono Geo team, and he's just man, he's definitely above Albedo. Like he's just in terms of like everything, he's just one of the greatest characters Genshin Impact has released so far. He's hilarious. He's interesting. Every time he's around or mentioned, it instantly spikes my interest. I know it's gonna be a good event because he's involved. I know this is gonna be good. Anything like Heizo's hangout was like okay, and then we got like a bunch of Ito, and it was like Ito hangout, and it was like perfect. The Chasm event was extremely good, and has some really good cinematics and cutscenes and whatever. But Ito just overall just drove it home. Like, he's such a good character in terms of just his personality, his voice acting. I personally play in the English, so he's like Saitama the whole time, and his gameplay is just so cool. Like I don't have him because I have a Noel, and like I went through the hassle of building her and like getting the sword that Ito has for her, the red horn stone thresher. So it was like if I got him, then I'd have to do that all over again and spend all my gems on like getting another red horn. Pain in the ass. I'm committed to her. Like I've had her C6 since the beginning of time and had her built since the beginning of time. So I just focused on her. But one of my friends has him, and he's just so fun. Like his like pose when he like enters his like burst, and then he just goes in with the club, and the club is just it just looks so like cool and fitting because he's an Oni and he's got this giant club just going in, and then his skill he just throws this like little dancing cow, like that's so ridiculous and so cool at the same time. Like his cow, and like during the Chasm event, the cow was just around. Like he took it out once. Ushi, I think his name was. He like took him out once, and he was just there the whole time. He's such a good character in every way, shape, and form. The only issue with Arataki Ito is that his main damage is, of course, his in his burst, and he is kind of like a lot of Geo characters. It's like it take a long time to get their burst. Like it's like some kind of like Geo slight issue. Like some of them take like quite a while to get their burst, which sucks. But like, and especially in Ito's case, because that's like his main thing. Like he could probably hit hard on his normal attacks. Don't get me wrong, but you mainly want his burst. But yeah, Ito definitely S tier. I'll fight and die by that. Next up, we have Ningguang, and as much as I built a Ningguang, I love my Ningguang. I think she is B tier. What makes this unfortunate is that I've had her for like a long time. She's been out since the release. So like obviously by now I have her C6. And I built her and I do enjoy her. She can do some good damage, and with all her constellations, like she just gets cooler and cooler in like minuscule ways. Like when you throw up the little jade screen, if it breaks, and like the cooldown instantly resets, so you can throw up another one. And it's like, all right, that's cool. You have a little jade screen, and it's like any projectiles that come to it will get sucked in by that. Really, really cool stuff. However, your gameplay lacks. You're literally just throwing rocks, and it gets boring. It gets so boring so fast. And like even when you see the numbers and like the AoE explosions, it's like, yeah, and then it's like, damn, like it gets old so quick. And like her burst is like cool because not because you're throwing more rocks in a cooler manner, but because I think it's like C6 or something. When you use her burst, like she uses these little like rocks that like circle around her, kind of like when you have the Raiden Shogun in your party, you have that circle around you at like all times. Ningguang, she builds up like the circle of like rocks or whatever, and when you use her burst, it automatically like pulls it like to like the max or something. And then if you do a charged attack, it's almost like using her burst again. So you get like a pseudo burst right after her burst. It's kind of like two bursts in one, which is really cool. It's like she can do like good damage. She can do phenomenal damage, and she can do so much. But you'll get bored of it so fast. Like it's just the same thing over and over again. Like it's just like throw rocks, pop burst, which is throw more rocks, and then that lets you throw even more rocks, and then like throw up the jade screen, walk through a geo buff, and it's like it's just so it gets old and repetitive so quick. Moving on. Next up we have Noel. I'm torn between like high B tier and like low A tier. we'll put her low A because she you can get her for 8 wishes. No, but like early game, she's really cool. She literally will do it all for your team. She's a shield character, even though that shield has like a very long cooldown. She's a shield character that heals, and she can do some pretty good damage. Can't like you can't be too upset about that. She's not the best in any of those fields, but she can do all of them, and it's very handy. She's a very handy person because she's a maid. She's a very good maid at that. But overall, she's a really good character. She's a really cool character. She's interesting in the lore. You know, she's like she can do all these like cool feats and stuff like that. But she's not a Knight of Favonius, even though she's like 1,000 times more useful. Like they're literally like fat people in the Knights of Favonius, and we don't have Noel. Like it's just like ridiculous. It's like goofy. There's literally a kid in the Knight of Favonia. There's Klee, Spark Knight, and like we don't have Noel. Like it's just so ridiculous. But even so, she's a strong character, and she's obviously got a buff with the release of Arataki Ito, because you could use his sword just as much on him as you could do it on her. You know, buffs defense. It's a really good sword. It's a claymore, I should say. It's a crit damage, and its effects like increase your normal damage or increases like attack or something like that. Normal attack damage, whatever it is, by like your defense, and it increases your defense as well. So it worked extremely well on Noel. Way better than the White Blind. White Blind was like hell with Noel. I thought the best weapon for Noel would be the Unforged, but like the Unforged is kind of just okay. But like when the Red Horn Stone Thresher came out, I was like, nah, man, no way. This is definitely Noel's weapon, or Ito's weapon. But you know, you can use it on Noel. And the Opulent Dreams, of course, works extremely well on her too. And I've had her built before. I don't know what I used to have on her. Probably like 4-piece gladiators or something, like way back in the day, and like White Blind. And like her damage output just wasn't there. She did decent damage on her ult, but like with the Opulent Dreams, I was like, wow, this is a huge buff in damage alongside the Stone Thresher. Really, really solid character with all these new things. And there's better like claymores out now. You don't have to suffer through the White Blind, because White Blind's really not that good on her. You do like doo-doo in damage, believe it or not. But yeah, she's definitely worth a shot. You've definitely got her. Like there's no way you don't have her. There's no way, like 8 wishes on a 10 pull and you're guaranteed a Noel. Like what's the worst that'll happen? You know what I mean? Like if you don't have her, I don't know. You're not playing the game, dog. And she's especially good like early game to help you out a lot. So I think she's a pretty solid character. I think we'll low 8s here. Might be stretching it a little bit, but she's the homie. Next up is Geo Traveler. Usually these travelers are like F tier, but I'm gonna put Geo Traveler in C tier. Mainly because it's not that they're specifically good or anything. They're not, but I think what drives them from being C tier from F tier is the versatility of the elemental skill. And if you don't know, I don't know how you wouldn't know, but if you don't know, the Geo Traveler's elemental skill, it just you just spawn in this like giant like rock thing, and like it's extremely handy for like just like climbing up stuff. Like if you don't have like, if you're not rich and you don't have Zhongli, Venti, Zhao, Scaramouche or Wanderer, Kazuha, and like all these characters that can kind of like trick their way into like helping you like vertically like get anywhere. The Geo Traveler is really cool. So the little like block that they spawn, you can like kind of put it on like the side of mountains and stuff like that. You can put it like at the base, like help you climb, get a little bit of extra height, which is really useful. And like even if it's like, oh man, like I don't need the Geo Traveler to like traverse anything, like you never know, like you never know like what new like areas will be released later on. And like strictly like explorationally speaking, like you will have the Geo Traveler. Like there is no way you don't have the Geo Traveler. Like you would have to like skip leeway or something. It's just like I don't know how you would do that. But but it's just really useful. I think it's like pretty solid, pretty cool. And when you get like the constellations, because you always get the constellations for the Traveler. When you get this like one of the constellations, you can spawn a second one, so you can have two out at a time. And the main use of that is to have Zhongli, and then use the two things to be like the balls when you like put his pillar down. But like all jokes aside, like it is a very useful thing to have in exploration, and I think that's the only thing separating C and F. Like there is no like DPS utility. There's no like cool like fighting thing or like damage output. Like there's nothing good about them. But that I think is extremely worth knowing. Next up, we have Jin. I think Jin is like I think the best Geo support, because she's just got like a more generic. Sadly, this is another like all five of these characters need the opulent dreams. It's a pain in the ass, but Jin, she has a very different kind of support. She buffs normal attack speed if you have her like C6 or whatever. Normal attack speed, and I think damage as well. I'm pretty sure. And that's such a cool like buff. I think she's the only character with that kind of like, other than like C6 Amber, when she uses her ult, it buffs attack speed, believe it or not. I have her, so I know. But other than that, like not like I don't think there's many buffs for like attack speed. Off the top of my head, I can't, other than Amber's, because I use it in my arguments all the time, defending Amber, I might be the last line of defense, but I'll keep fighting. But other than that, like I can't think off the top of my head another like character, weapon, or item or anything that like buffs attack speed. Maybe there's like a food, but like, well, I don't use food. I'm not a loser. If you use food, you're a loser. Other than healing. So it makes her really interesting. It buffs the damage of it as well. So like if you pop her ult and then you switch to like Eula, pop her ult, and then just like go in on normal attacks, and like just like any character that relies on their normal attack. A lot of characters will rely on their normal attack, even if you don't really care about like the little speed increase. Like the damage increase is like cool, so like why not give that a try. But like she's a very fun character. In the lore and everything, she's not that interesting when she first came out. She's gotten a lot better over like the year she's been out. But yeah, she was released about a year ago, a little bit earlier than a year ago, because it was last Chinese New Year, Lantern Rite, last Lantern Rite. But when she first came out, I was like, bro, this character's a loser, because she came out and all she did was support Shenhe's story. She did nothing. She had no kind of like other than like the whole like she had like the Chinese opera singer voice or whatever, which was like, oh, that's kind of unique. Not really like that. Honestly, I don't think it was that cool, but it was like unique. And I was like, all right, I can see the interest in that. Personally, not for me, but for other people, yeah. But she was just there just to boost her story. Like she had like nothing. She had no involvement. She was a nobody. She was just like, I gotta learn more about this story. And then Shenhe was like, oh, that's me. And then it's like, whoa, man, how? Like she didn't do anything. We didn't learn anything about her. Or like, I don't think we learned anything useful about her. But over the time, like she's like been involved more, and she's been doing some cool stuff. Like she was in like, like this Lantern, right? She was like teaching like Hu Tao, like, and Xinyan, like how to like sing and rap. And she didn't do that good of a job, but she did her best. But it was like, oh, we get to see more of her and the hangout. Like we got to see like a little bit into her story and everything, and it's like, yeah, she's more interesting of a character than I gave her credit for. And then on top of that, once I found out like how cool of a buff she gave, I was like, bro, this is a pretty solid character. It took like a whole year of development, but she's grown on me, and I've recently built her and everything, and I'm having a lot of fun with her. So I definitely would recommend building a Yunjin. Especially if you have like Ningguang, you just spam normal attacks, right? But like maybe that'll make her interesting. I doubt it, but But yeah, definitely at least give her a try. It's a very interesting character. Last but not least is the OG Geo Daddy. And indeed, it is as you have guessed. He is S tier. I don't think he's quite better than Ito in terms of like, man, it's really hard to say. They're like neck and neck. Like Zhongli is just such a cool character. He's done so much, like in terms of like just being like cool and a meme, and like he's got such a great voice actor, and he's got like so much. He's got such cool character design, and just his appearance and his like his personality, his like the goofiness that's around him. Like he's just so everything. Like he's like at every dimension possible. He's just interesting and cool in every possible way. He's just not as funny as Ito. Like he's just nowhere near as funny as Ito. That's like the main thing. And like he's not really like you could build like a DPS Zhongli. You could build DPS any character if you try hard enough. Especially since he gets the staff of Homa. But his main thing that makes him extremely good S tier character is his shield. His shield is extremely strong, easy to build for. All you need to do is focus on HP, and we all have doo-doo HP artifacts that we can put on Zhongli. And his shield scales off of the HP. It has an extremely short cooldown. And then they buffed him to where like when you like put his shield on, it like spawns on one of his pillars. The pillars are like cool. Like they don't really like you're not like yes the pillars like you're not really like gonna care about it, but it's like yo it's free. Like what are you complaining about, you know? And then on top of that, he has such a cool burst, has an extremely like wide range of attack or damage or explosion or whatever, and it does a decent amount of damage, especially if you really build for like the DPS Zhongli. It just obliterates like small enemies, and then if it doesn't kill them, it's gonna like solidify them, you know, because solidify, but it's gonna like petrify them, and they're just like frozen in like stone for like a couple of seconds. And a couple of seconds is a lot. Like it's not like literally a lot. It's like 3-4 seconds or something, but it's like metaphorically it's a lot. Like, and if you get like his constellation, I think it increases it by like 2 seconds, which is crazy amount. Like it really like when they're just there, just like doing what it like just stopped. Like it gives you like a couple of seconds to like maybe like switch out your whatever, like just switch your party, like switch your motions and characters and whatever. You just have a lot of time to do something, to like take a sip of water, I don't know, whatever, do whatever you want. You have like 4 or 5 seconds till the enemies come back. And on top of that, he has such a cool normal attack pattern. It doesn't do any damage, and like if you build like a physical Zhongli, like you get to like use it a little bit, I guess, but it still does like no damage. But he has such a cool like attack pattern. Like he like kicks the spear and he like spins in midair. And if you do his charge attack, he like it's just such a cool pattern. One of the coolest one of the coolest you'll see, man. Yeah, I can gush about Zhongli for hours and hours and all Samantha's Mind and all that, but I think that's it for our Geo characters. I think it's easy to see that like the later Geo characters, other than like Zhongli and Albedo, because they've been out, I think one after the other. I think like November and then December of the first year of Genshin Impact. Like all the other characters are like, I mean, I probably put Noel a little bit higher than like most people would, but fight me, bro. But all the other ones, like these are like later characters. Garo and Ito came out together. Jin came out a little bit later, and Albedo, and no, just those three. And like the Opulent Dreams really gave them a buff because Geos are really bad. The only reaction they have is Crystallize, so just honestly useless. And like those shields, like they come in clutch if you have like Ningguang or like Jin in your team, and that's it. Like it's like, oh man, it's like a free shield. It's like you can't really complain about that. When you have like Noel, Zhongli, it's just like, bro, this shield means nothing. You don't need it. Like who cares? So it's like Personalized is kind of useless. It doesn't really do much of anything outside of that. So it's like it's really hard to like really make like broken Geo characters, other than like support characters. But it is what it is for now. Who knows what the future has in store for us, right? But that is going to be it for this video. Thank you guys for tuning in. Be sure to check out some of my other tier lists. They should be popping up on screen, or they've popped up already. I'm trying to get used to that timing. I want it to be like exact, but I'm still trying to figure out YouTube, you know. But leave any comments about like what you want me to do next, what you'd like to see. Um, if you don't agree, just let me know. I'm willing to hear you guys out, because maybe I don't know everything. Maybe I'm missing something. So if you think Ningguang's better or you think Albedo's worse, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear some insight towards it. Feel free. And thank you guys for watching. Take care. Have a good day.